Good morning. Welcome to the 17 Training Wing in Processing. My name is Tech Sergeant Enoch, and I am a Group MTL. Today, the COA for today, you guys should be in your rooms watching the processing briefing today. We have a couple key speakers telling you what their services that they provide to you guys, and you guys will have the opportunity to do question and answers. First on the list will be Colonel Nazario and Chief Kirkpatrick. So if you can, please check in with your name and where you're from in the comments section, and we'll get back to you shortly. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to Goodfellow Air Force Base. Chief, I'm told that we have 35 to 40 people around the net right now that are looking at us. And hey, I'm gonna take this off for a second because I think I may be coming across as muffled. But I want you to know that during your time here, I fully expect you, when you are not exercising physical distance of at least 6 feet, to have one of these on. So since Chief and I are more than 6 feet apart, I'm going to take the liberty of taking this off so you can hear me a little bit better, if that's okay. Again, welcome to Goodfellow. I think across the net, and I am not sure because we're not having
We're at 46.
interaction right now, but we usually get a sort of like a mix of some non-prior service students that obviously came from BMT, some prior service students that potentially come here for upgrade training, not upgrade training, for reclass training for us. Some folks from Presidio, some of our language folks, and then obviously between all of that, then you have the different mixes. We get the fire dogs, the crypto linguists, the fusion analysts, the geospatial ops, the ops analyst. Am I forgetting? I got me.
You mentioned fire.
1 and 2s, yeah, 1 and 2s, high-end ELINTers, and then I think the other ones I'm forgetting are the officers that come through. So I know that that's usually the mix at varying numbers. Oh my! What times you choose to join our military and our service? If I was in your shoes, I wouldn't have it any other way. The interesting thing about this times, Chief, is that if there was an opportunity to fully exercise the things that you learn in basic training or any commissioned service, right, which are really the core values: service, excellence, integrity. There's no better time to exercise that than right now. There's no better time to show that you actually took that on in each of your entry-level session than it is right now, and we're glad that we're sharing this journey with you. If this was any other time, we probably would be jumping around and doing quite a few things. Although on the way here, I thought, hey man, maybe there is room for virtual push-ups. So I'm throwing that out there for you. So Chief, I'll just leave it here as a general intro. I would love for you to go into things that will make students successful, and then maybe we do some of those push-ups. I don't know.
It's a part of
our culture here, so they would have to know. Hey, so again, this is Chief Kirkpatrick. I want to say welcome to Goodfellow Air Force Base, 17 Training Wing, and to your next phase of training experience. Hopefully many of you remember we met most of you on Friday, I believe, when you guys came in. And we're excited to have you as a part of our team just as much as we were.
That was like a 7-day workout for me. I think I unloaded at least 700 bags.
And so it was absolutely our honor to host you here at Goodfellow for this next phase of your training. Colonel Nazario couldn't have said it any better. One of the great things that you guys have working for you is this idea that you have already, at the very genesis of your careers, experienced what it means to have to do service before self, because already think about the sacrifices that you've had to make so far with the mask wear, with your families not going to your graduations, with not having all of the things that maybe you thought you were going to have when you went into basic military training. The way that we did the flights coming here, and honestly, the fact that we have limited movement off base for students right now, that's a sacrifice. But also I want to say, even this moment right now, what you're doing inside your rooms, you know, there's an anticipation on our behalf that you guys are professional, that you have the right, that you're wearing your, some form of uniform, or you're doing those things, that there is, no kidding, some integrity that's going to be required, because we might not always see you, but we do expect you to do the right thing, which is the heart of integrity. And last thing is obviously is excellence. It is the core of who we are as an institution. And so with excellence in mind, I just want to give you some quick tips that I think will help make you successful and excellent in your endeavors as military members. Sound good? So if you remember me talking to you briefly on Friday, I told you this: be motivated, because your motivation will be the key to success.
Amen.
But here's the next portion. To be excellent, you're going to need something. You're going to need someone even better. You're going to need a wingman. And so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to encourage you, every single one of you, to have and be a wingman, because that's going to be one of the things that you will need. Now, here's the specific portion I'm going to ask you as a wingman. Check this out. As a wingman, I need you to do and be careful and mindful for a couple basic things. You need to hold yourself and hold your wingman accountable for these three basic areas. The first one is rest. No kidding. Look at your wingman every single day, whether you see them virtually, you see them in person. You see those bags under their eyes, you know they're not getting rest, they're shooting text messages, they're swiping on their phone or whatever, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, knowing that they've got learning, education, and training to try to get done that next day. Hold them accountable, hold yourself accountable, because if you want to be a top-notch firefighter or intelligence professional, guess what you're going to need every day? You're going to need rest, because you need your body and your mind ready to rock and roll, ready to get it done. The second thing is this idea of what you put in your body feeds your body and your mind so that it operates at its highest level. So be a good wingman and take an interest in what you put in your body. As a career intelligence professional after 22 years, I know that the intel world has this tendency to function and work off of caffeine. I'm going to encourage you, do not allow caffeine to be the primary substance that you drink all the time. If you're drinking that, you also need to make sure you're drinking water as well. And also, hit up our dining facilities. Yes, we do have the most profitable Domino's in the area, but I'm telling you right now, go to the dining facility, eat something that's healthy every once in a while, not just the chili cheese fries and those things. And the last thing I want to ask you, as a teammate, as a wingman, hold yourself and your teammate accountable for fitness. Right now, our gym's not open in the way that you would have it open, but you guess what we have? We've got trails, we've got running path. We're going to have some weights and some equipment that's going to be sitting outside. But honestly, all you need is space and opportunity. And I want to encourage you, as a wingman, take advantage of that space and opportunity to get some in. On Friday, I did a couple push-ups with our actually I tend to do it with the Marines and soldiers and so forth. But I did some with our fire dogs on Friday when I met you. And that's just, hey, as a wingman, you never know. But I'm telling you right now, your fitness level is key. That's key for intelligence as well as it is for fire professionals. So hold yourself and your teammate accountable for getting after those three basic areas. So as a wingman, I'm asking you to be a good wingman to your teammates. Care about their rest, care about what they put in their body, and make sure that they're exercising. If you do those three basic things, neuroscience tells you that your brain and your body will be functioning at its highest potential. And guess what you're going to need to get through Goodfellow and the complex training that you're going to have? You're going to need to operate at your absolute highest potential. And that's what we're looking for you, and we want you to encourage your folks to do the same as well. So again, as your wing command leadership team, we're excited to have you here. I just want to give a couple shout outs. I see it looks like from a moment ago, it looked like Missouri was pretty well represented as you guys are checking in. So we're glad to see everybody is popping in. I think we've got about 60 folks online so far. You're giving us your organization, so 315th, 316th is well represented. Looks like somebody's from San Angelo, so welcome back home.
Somebody from San Angelo?
Yeah, I see that. Somebody is from San Angelo. It's I can't pronounce it, but I'll tell you, it looks like it's Airman Teal. I'll say that part.
Oh yeah, Teal Lacasja.
Yep, see?
Hey, I'll tell you what, we also have somebody named James Brown. Feel good. Yeah, we have James Brown in the house. No kidding, the first person that showed up from the grave. James Brown is visiting us. And I think I see Cintron, Pedro Cintron. I think I met him on, Loren Cintron. I think I met him on Friday as I did the whole crew. Hey, Chief, so you talked about a few things that will make students successful. Can you talk a little bit about, just real briefly, about 2 months ago and today, in terms of, they're going through this in-processing virtually. Obviously, we used to do physical in-person in-processing. But then we used to, up to 2 months ago, before we hit this, I'm actually going to call it the COVID enabler, because it's allowing us to do things that we're not doing before. One of the cool things about this is that they are going to be starting class sooner than in the past. If you had shown up here 2 months ago, essentially the process would have been you would have gone through 3 to 5 days of the student success program, and then your clock started ticking because we were going to wait for your clearance to go through. Now, having moved a lot of the content off of the SCIFs into a different delivery system. I'm making the pitch myself.
Yeah, you absolutely are. No, but you're doing it so well.
After moving the content, the unclassified content, virtual instead of the SCIFs, we actually get the opportunity to get you training sooner rather than later, and that should be exciting for you for many reasons. The number one is, I'm a 3-time offender at Goodfellow, Chief.
Yes,
How many
sir.
times have you been at Goodfellow?
3 times.
Okay, so you're a 3-time offender at Goodfellow. That means we've been stationed here as students, instructors, and now part of your command team 3 different times in our careers. But what it also means is that as much as we like Goodfellow, and as many friends as we have in San Angelo, and we have many, you saw that those cookies that you had on Friday, somebody put that together. It was not us. It was somebody downtown. Folks that appreciate you. So as much as I appreciate all of that, and as much as you should appreciate all of that, it'll be cool to also get done here as fast as you can and get to the field so you can start doing your job and have a warfighting impact right away, right? So I think I would say this is very exciting. And it should be very exciting for all of you as long as you listen to what the chief just talked about and take that into consideration in your time. But the typical student would spend over here 160 training days, right? That's across the board. Now, 160 training days sounds like 160 days. Training days, right? Big difference. No weekends counted into that, none of that. Now, by doing it the way the hybrid version and the model version, we're actually front-loading all of that. So we're getting people out of here at 110 training days, right? That's awesome, right? That's awesome. That means that you're out in the field right away, having an impact on what is important to our nation. And if that doesn't excite you, I don't know what will. So what else you got to tell us, Chief?
Honestly, sir, no.
You absolutely nailed it. Hey, thank you guys for your patience as we are all trying to work ourselves through the new abnormal that is COVID-19 and what that looks like. I see a message. Somebody's already chomping at the bit to get after the gym.
Yeah, Big Boss Brett.
Yeah,
Apparently Brett don't have a last name, but he's the big boss, so we address you properly. Big Boss Brett, yes.
So no, we're absolutely, again, fitness is key. We're absolutely excited. But I want to encourage you, do what you can where you're at, and you know what? Absolutely. Why not? You guys are getting an exclusive now.
Right.
Colonel Zara's gonna.
So here's what we're working on. So in the next 2 weeks, probably a little bit sooner than that, we have embarked in this. Maybe I want you. Can you pan out? I'd like to see Chief when I'm having these conversations, but because so anyway, what you'll see here in the next few weeks is I wanna convert Goodfellow into sort of like the Venice Beach of West Texas. And the reason for that is actually quite practical, to be honest. So we benefit in a few ways of this. And that is the gym, as it stands, is a germ factory. Exactly where you don't want to be during COVID-19 and these times where we still don't have a vaccine. So even if we opened up the gym tomorrow, it would have been really restricted, 15 people in and all that. So for you to get your fix, it would have been not what you would have thought of as a gym, right? The approach that we're taking is we're gonna take equipment from the gym and distribute it in different places around the base, right? What that allows you to do is actually hit it up at any time you want. So you're not packing in like sardines at the gym. That's one. Two, it keeps the equipment outside, so you get fresh air blowing, right? So you don't have to worry about that. And frankly, there's a little bit of heat that apparently coronavirus doesn't like that well. So bottom line is, at the end of the day, it's really practical for the times that we're living, but it also gives you the option, like Big Boss Brett over here, to get your workout on. Now, Big Boss Brett, there's plenty of pull-up machines. I think I saw at least 3 tires out there, so you can still get your fix if you want. There's a gazebo in the back that the Marines exclusively use during the morning PT sessions for them, but it is wide open already. So there are places where you can still get your workout on right
Absolutely.
now. But expect progress on that one going forward. Hey, are they going to be able to post some questions?
Yes, sir. They'll be able to post them in YouTube.
All right, good. Hey, we do have a question from Benjamin's Zions. Now, I think this is like some sort of like gamer name. There's no way this person's name is
Zion's
Zion
Vengeance.
And then I'm not too in tune. Which game would Zion be?
I don't know that that's a game.
I would love to meet you, Zion Vengeance. Anyway, but Zion asks, is there a process or possibility to switch threads? I am currently a 1-in-4 Alpha shred and want to be a 1-in-4 Bravo shred. Thanks. Hey, I don't know. So the answer would be yes. I would talk to your squadron commander. Let me rephrase that. I would talk to your squadron leadership at the lowest level and then fleet it up. Both jobs a little bit different. Not sure why you feel you want to switch from one to the other. I think the big difference between both jobs is one of them takes you to JCAP, the Joint Cyber Analysis course in Florida, and then the other one takes you straight to the field. But at the end of the day, that's a conversation you can have with your squadron leadership. Actually, what I would suggest, how cool will this be? Like, you really want to make it easy on your bosses? Why don't you see if you have a friend that's actually interested? You have a 1 Bravo 4 friend that's interested in 1 Bravo Alpha, 1-in-4 Bravo, 1-in-4 Alpha, and then ask both of you walk in and ask for a switch route, and like that, there's 0 loss across the board, right? You still graduate the same. So yes. Hey, Zion is his middle name. Ha! All right, that's awesome. All right, good.
I just want to one more thing.
Feel free to ask questions.
We get that question or similar
Types of questions about people wanting to change your AFSC, and to Colonel Nazario's point, hey, ask the question. But at the same time, I do want to encourage you to recognize that, hey, welcome to the world's greatest Air Force. And sometimes we're going to ask you to do something that's a little bit outside of the norm, which you initially came in wanting to do, but a lot of this is what service is all about. And that's what you should be seeing every day, every moment that you're here. Hell, when I came in as a geospatial intelligence analyst at the 315th in 1998, I thought, it used to be called a photographic interpreter, I thought I was going to be a photographer. And so I walked into something, I had no idea what it was. I didn't think that I was going to like it. And I kid you not, I sat in that classroom, and after about 2 weeks, I realized, like, this is what I want to do. And by the time I was done, best career choice ever. I absolutely loved it. I think photographers are great people, but I would not have traded my tradecraft for what I've had an opportunity to do in my career. So before we all fleet and think that the grass is greener on the other side, I say, ask those questions, but if it doesn't pan out, recognize that your service to your nation is well respected, is well appreciated, and it will take real good care of the United States Air Force while you're serving.
Hey, I think there's a question in there. It's usually one that we also get all the time about potential commissioning. Do you want to start with your stump speech on it, or you want me to address it? Yeah, I think you should just let me address it this time around, because no. So here's the deal, right? The chief has a very interesting take on this one, because he was given and provided the opportunity to commission, and he chose not to do it because he wanted to make sure that the NCO Corps right, was as strong as it could be. And there are a lot of people like Chief that I think, like you, Enoch, I'm looking at you, that choose to stay in our NCO core because this functions in the NCO core, right? You know, at the end of the day, that's the bottom line. So I appreciate that side of it. But for the mechanics of commissioning, actually, I'm not even going to get into the mechanics. I'm actually going to pick it up where you started, because I think that's the message that matters, right? Which is, don't worry so much about what you can do and will do and could do. Worry a lot about what you will do and can do right now. You're in control of nothing other than what you have in front of you right now. So Brett, I appreciate the question, but I will tell you, as you go forward in your journey, and I don't know which AFSC you chose, frankly, it doesn't matter. What would highlight you, right, as a potential for either promotion within the NCO core or somebody looking at you say, hey man, have you ever thought about commissioning? Is performance. Performance at that moment of time in what you're doing, right? So the approach that I would take towards this is, what is it that I can do to potentially allow me to bridge to that, if that's what I want to do, but not think too much about the ultimate goal that you forget that the important thing for you to do is actually perform right now, right? So Brett, again, the sky is the universe. I mean, it's limitless. Yeah, it's also the universe, but it's limitless. And those are your opportunities in the Air Force. Not one of them happens unless you can show that you can perform. So my advice to you would be perform, right? And every time somebody recognizes that you're a great performer, that you're contributing to the mission, more windows, more doors will continue opening for you. Trust me, I'm a product of that service. I am a prior service soldier in the Army, so I know how it works. But I would not be talking to you right now unless I had concentrated in my business when I needed to, and that's what opened up opportunities. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
All right, good. What else? What other questions are we getting?
We have to run to another meeting.
Oh, we do. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. They can wait. I'm liking this. As long as we're getting questions, I'm okay.
And so let me just hit that last piece, and I'll just say my short version of that same question, because some people ask about the commissioning source and other people ask about BTZ. How do I get BTZ? My answer is the same thing that Colonel Lazaro said, but it's a super clean thing. What's your day job first? Think about what your day job is. Right now it's to be a student. Be the best version of that right now. Because your excellence in the thing that you're doing today is the thing that will open the doors for you tomorrow. Too many times people get so focused on trying to get through some door that they don't know is there, that they lose sight of being excellent today, and they never perform and never have that door opened, and then they think the Air Force and this whole system didn't work. Well, no, you were never really good at the thing you were supposed to be doing right now, which is why you didn't have the doors open that you wanted to have open. And I can tell you I did BTZ, it could have gone to RT, all of those things worked out, and it was not because I was so focused on that. I was trying to be the best analyst that is what I did at the time.
Correct.
That I could be at that moment, and that's where the thing that opened every door for me. So I want to encourage you to follow after that. The other thing, another.
By the way, you're talking to a 15-year chief, so if you think that's unheard of, I think I met one other. Okay, no, I have never met another one. So the point about the opportunities and doing the best in what you can, matters in terms of how you progress. And he's a prime example of that. Hey, Chief, you want one more on this one, or let's address some of the questions. There's quite a few, actually. I think we should address them all. Let's scroll down like this. My glasses prescription was messed up at BMT. How do I go about fixing that?
So I think the med
group is actually are they coming next? Yeah, med group is here. So can you see the questions?
You're the med group?
Yes,
all right, can you address that when the time comes?
Yeah. So,
but bottom line is
that
that person will be able to get classes, right?
Yeah.
You'll be able to get glasses. Just ask the guy, the med group guy.
Now, the one that is in our wheelhouse is the predictions on the extension of ROM status.
Yeah, so
That's completely
yes.
as the installation.
Yeah, so let's do the easy ones and then we'll address that one. So which bank has better benefits, Navy Federal or USAA? Hey, I'll tell you, it's really up to you. There's a whole bunch of us that bank with USAA because it's been great for us and it's really transferable. And the whole business model was based on military. But maybe I bank with Navy, I have a mortgage with Navy Federal that were pretty good with me. So I would just look at what fits to your lifestyle and if you're interested in percentages and stuff like that. But I don't think you can go wrong with either choice that you mentioned in there. But you got to pick what's best for you. What is the current situation with overseas assignments? Are they sending more than usual or less than usual? Very interesting.
Very interesting.
You want me to address it or you want to address it?
I could. So
by the way, I had 3 cups of coffee.
I can tell. He had a little bit of coffee this morning. So on the overseas assignments, so just so you know, during COVID-19, during the crisis, during the stop movement, we stopped all assignments to our overseas locations. What we were doing was we were graduating people, and if you had an assignment overseas, we were sending them to stateside bases. Well, we actually recently, and I mean very recently, Friday, have opened up our assignments back overseas again. So people going to Europe, people going over to the Pacific, those opportunities are open again. And so we're going to start the process of flowing folks back into those assignments. It's not going to be fast. The spigot of moving is not, of moving people is not going to move, very rapidly, but we will start to see movements in and out of the European and Pacific theater as it was going before. So we were in a pause. The pause is now over, but we're not moving at full speed. We'll slowly start to get people back into those.
Yeah, and it's going to be choppy initially as we open back up the pipeline. And frankly, there's a whole bunch of different variables that go into it, aircraft, and will keep you safe and all that. So, but fair question. The good news is that the answer is yes.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what's the overseas? How long does 1 in 4 Alpha stay at Goodfellow? It all depends on how good you do on your course. So if you do well, you just stay the length of the course. You actually move pretty fast. If you don't do well, then you'll encounter some issues. So our goal is we really want you to do well, right? We're set up for you to do well, and if you do. You leave us as fast as we can get you out. Any predictions on RUM? Okay, let's address that one. Do you want to start? Because I just actually signed it.
I know you did. You just did the memo on it. It's fresh in your mind, sir.
Yeah. Actually, all this stuff is fresh in my mind because I don't sleep. I'm just thinking about this junk all day long.
You need to get some rest, sir.
Yeah.
Wingman, I gotta remind you to get
Thank
some
you,
rest.
Chief. It's not working. Well, I try, but it don't work. Any predictions on the extension of RUM status and base restrictions to go past 30 June from Sean Cahill? Hey, Sean, so here's the fact that you're asking about RUM status tells me that you're either reclass, a guard or reserve, right? Or a presidial person, right? Those are the 3. Okay. So the good news is that just yesterday, it may not affect you because you're probably, we got to see how we execute this. In fact, in the meeting that we have right after this, they're going to try to tell me how we execute this. But the AETC SG, the Surgeon General, came out with a suggested approach towards RUM that would allow us at the installation level to actually make decisions at our level. So instead of this blanket 14 days approach based on a triage set of questions, then we can determine whether or not you're a RUM eligible person, and we put you on RUM. I was provided with the general details of that yesterday, and in discussion with Chief, thought it was a great idea to go that route. My only reservation right now is how do we execute it? So the idea is good. how do we execute it? Because it's not just students that we receive at Goodfellow. We have permanent party. We have, so how will each group execute the idea? But definitely on the student front. So I'll hear those here in the next half hour, and then we'll see how we ease up on that. Again, Sean, if you're ready on ROM status, you probably won't benefit from that, but the folks that follow you will. So definitely considering a modification to the current ROM status issue. On the base restriction goes past June 30 June. I will tell you the language that we've chosen to use, that we are very deliberate about. I actually used it 3 times this morning. It's this thing called gradual restoration of services and activities, right? So we are in that journey. All of you arrived this past weekend, so you didn't know what was open or not open 2 weeks before that. Well, I'll tell you, it was really shut down, right? If you showed up this past weekend and you didn't benefit from it because you didn't know, but at least the movie theater was available for movies. That was not the case a week ago. If you showed up here 2 weeks ago, Crossroads, which is one of our religious sort of like event center, was shut down. We opened that up. The track was shut down. We've opened that. Up. So we've taken a very gradual approach towards our restrictions. I will tell you that whatever happens after June 30th, our FACE program won't be what it was before COVID-19, right? So what we want to do is we want to create a safe bubble internal to Goodfellow and open it up across the board, as opposed to allow people to leave the base, get contaminated outside the base, bring that junk back into the base, and then you create a massive hospital at Goodfellow.
Or vice versa.
Correct. So what we want to do is prevent that. So the more sanitized that we keep it inside, the more we can. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can do here at Goodfellow. But in terms of what base restrictions would mean going forward, I'll be honest. I am doing a day-by-day sort of like equation math to make that decision. But what I'm seeing off base doesn't impress me. Right now, what was it, Sean? If you went to Walmart tomorrow or this morning, the compliance rate of people wearing their masks at Walmart is about 10%. And that 10% is military people or people related to the base. That doesn't make me feel good, right? I drove around, I do this, Chief, you know that. I've been doing that from the beginning. I drive around because I like to see compliance, because I want to make a decision. So I drove around yesterday by Ben Franklin Road, and there's a little lake off stop over there underneath the overpass. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, guess how many people were wearing masks in there? 0. Farmers Market, how many people were wearing masks? 0. Right? So I'm just telling you that all of that goes into the equation. Now, if we see compliance internal to Goodfellow, which is where I started the conversation when I had this on, if we see compliance without me having to remind you, we'll open up as much stuff as we can over here. And there's plenty of stuff to keep you entertained for 3 to 4 months, right? But the day-to-day, June 30th, how we do or don't do that, I'll determine that based on what's happening around me. It'll be completely conditions-based. All right? Yeah. What other questions do we have? A lot of 1 and O's have been here for about 30 days, have received their assignments already. Can we expect to be notified of our assignments sometime within the next 30 days as well? It seems that you have friends in here already. Well, let's
Are they getting their assignments?
that early. That's pretty early.
Some get the assignments early and some don't, so it just depends on
Yeah.
The assignments.
Well, so I actually think because we're getting them into training faster, that may be the reason why they're getting assignments. If they were waiting for clearance before they went into the course, it made no sense to give them an assignment. So it may, hey, we're learning from this one too. It may be a function that since we can get you to class faster, you're already on the pipeline, that they can get you an assignment. So why don't you tell me in 30 days, well, no, you got an assignment, and then I'll be able to answer that question. Is that cool?
Yeah, and then there was one other question about the addition of distance learning. We talked about this before. It's not guaranteed that you'll have an accelerated graduation, but I'll tell you
that what we were doing before is there was a period of time when you were considered a student not in training, and we're trying to leverage that time to do training in that window that we would have done inside the classroom. And so we're still working through kind of some of the policy and bureaucracy challenges that we have, which we've got a lot of leeway with now, so that if we do the distance learning in that interim portion before, we may be able to shorten or hybrid the learning on the back end to pull it forward. Some of the courses have been able to get folks out. Some of the courses are still working on those details. I don't know which AFSC you're in, but bottom line is that's in many ways that's the intent. We're trying to create a little bit more flexibility and agility in the learning process that you guys have here, so that at the end of the day, you arrive, we get you in training, we turn you into the best possible warrior we can, we get you out to the field as fast as possible. Not so fast that we're sending you out there not ready, but once that you've completed all the objectives, the learning objectives, and all the things that you need. So we believe that this new model of allowing you to do this distance learning on the front end is going to help accelerate that process, but it doesn't guarantee an earlier graduation date at this date right now, but it does make it an option.
It's not guaranteed, but it gives it an option, and actually it's turned out to work out that way. I would also tell you that you may hit a hiccup on clearance still. So there's some of you that may still affect you down the line. So we might be able to get you in the front end of this, but if you don't have your clearance by then, we still got to put you on hold until you get your clearance. But the good news is 90% of people were getting the clearance on time. It's just that we were waiting for that even before we got them. This is great. This is great. This is actually working out in your.
I think the last question is a really good one. Hey, so Wi-Fi.
Yes.
That was one of the first things when we went into the situation that we recognized we needed. We actually recently signed a contract to get Wi-Fi, and we're going to extend that contract. So Wi-Fi for our folks is something that we're trying to work through to make sure everybody has access to.
Well, so I think somebody needs to give me an update on this. I think we just signed the contract on it, so you should be getting the opportunity to get Wi-Fi through Boingo already. Enoch, let's find that out. I thought that was approved. I thought that was approved already.
Yeah.
So the answer to that is yes. In fact, we got that paid for the next 6 months, and yesterday I was in conversations to extend that for another 12, because what you don't know is your future friends that you're going to meet in the field 2 years from now, when they come through Goodfellow a year and a half from now, they actually will have 5G. So you won't have to worry about Wi-Fi. We'll have the base wired up for 5G, paid for by the great state of Texas. All right, yeah, and then we got to roll.
We have to run it. We got a great team of folks who are gonna pick this up.
So keep the questions coming. I'm going to ask everybody, there's a couple of, you see me looking around, there's other folks in the room. I'm going to ask you guys, please answer each one of the questions that is in your wheelhouse, so that everybody gets an answer while they're on live right now. If you have a question that does not get answered while you're on YouTube, we'll make sure that we get those responses out to your organization, to your unit, so we can get it to you. But end of the day, we want to say again, thank you so much for joining Team Goodfellow. We're going to do our part to give you the best possible training. You do your part by being motivated and being a good wingman to your teammates. And by those two things, I'm confident that we're going to continue building the world's greatest airmen.
Hey, I appreciate you. Welcome to the team. Welcome to Goodfellow. Have a great training journey. Do your best. And let's get you trained up and out of here in the field, contributing to our warfighting focus. So yeah, thank you. It is my honor. All right, that went pretty good. All right.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Goodfellow. I'm Mr. Winder. I'm from the 17th Med Group. I'll be answering any questions you have on your healthcare, the clinic itself, and any complications we've had with COVID-19 stuff. Some basic housekeeping things for you students would be to, first you have to call Tricare, 1-800-TRICARE. That's so you can get a primary care manager assigned to you. And that's after you get through DEERS. And then once you do that, you will have a PCM and you can make routine appointments. The main appointment line number is going to be 325-654-3149. That number you can make appointments with your primary care manager, check up on referrals, any specialty care clinic stuff like optometry, which we had a question about earlier about glasses. So yes, you call that appointment line number, the 3149, and they will schedule you a routine eye exam and then see if they can order you a new set of glasses. Some other things would be that are limited right now would be radiology and physical therapy, but they are on limited capability, so just call the appointment line where you can get you in, or we can get you triaged for that type of stuff. The other thing is you should be getting a set of slides specifically for the med group sent to you by your MTLs. Those slides are great. They have all our information, what clinics are limited, any type of process you need to know, any benefits that you have, that type of stuff. And then the other big one for any live updates on clinic closures, systems that may be down, that type of thing is our med group Facebook page, which you can find through AFMS Goodfellow 17th Med Group. And then I'll be here for any questions you may have.
Hey, good morning, and welcome to Goodfellow Air Force Base. My name is Pamela Flemings. I'm the Installation Voting Assistance Officer, and I'm here to talk to you about how to register to vote and how to request your absentee ballot, because you can vote wherever you are, even if you're in quarantine or you're locked down. So it's a two-step process. The first step is that you have to fill out the federal postcard application. Voila. These forms are available over at Airmen and Family Readiness Center, which is where the Installation Voting Assistance Office is located at. You may also have a unit voting rep around in your unit that you can ask, but definitely you can get this form either those two places, or you can get them online at fvap.gov. That's www.fvap.gov. So that's the federal postcard application. That is the first step. You'll go ahead and you'll fill that out. Your second step is once you get your ballot, What you want to do is once you get your ballot, you're going to return that to your local election official. And you can either do that by email, it can be the form, you can also scan it in, or you may be able to fax it in. But you will need to check online at ff.gov for your state regulations. So that's very, very important that you look at what those deadlines are, okay? So, first step. Now, what happens is you don't get your ballot. It's within 30 days of the election, and you have not received your ballot to vote. Well, you will fill in what is called the federal write-in absentee ballot. It looks a lot different, right? And so this form is also available at the Installation Voting Assistance Office over at Airmen and Family Readiness Center, Building 145. You can also get this online at ff.gov or check within your unit to see if you have a unit voting assistance officer. You'll go ahead and mail this in, and then great things will happen, right? Whether you fill this out and get your ballot, or you have to do your write-in, you'll be able to vote. And that's the most important thing, is that you have this right. Now, this is available. It's under what is called UCAVA, the Uniformed and Overseas Citizen Voting Absentee Act. And this is available to all service members, regardless of your branch, and it's also available to all family members. So, vote, go ahead and do your right, and if you have any questions, please let us know over at Airmen and Family Readiness Center. We are here to service you. We're open from Monday through Friday. Our hours are a little bit limited now, but we're over at Building 145, which is right across the street from the chapel. Okay? I do have one question I want to add that's not related to voting that I want to pick up. I'm the personal financial readiness manager over at Airmen and Family Readiness Center, and the question came in regarding which is better, Navy Federal Credit Union or USAA. Well, first of all, Navy Federal Credit Union is a credit union which is governed by the NCUA, the National Credit Union Association, and USAA is a bank. So it's still insured under the FDIC. So what you want to do when you're making that determination whether or not you want to go with a bank or a credit union is that you just want to go on the website, see what services that they provide. Typically banks will charge a little bit more on interest on their loan products, and credit unions would charge a little bit less, but that's where you would do your research. So if you have any questions about personal financial management, please visit us over at Airmen and Family Readiness Center. We're here to service you. And don't forget to vote. 2020 is a big election here. Thank you. Any questions, please let us know.
Hello again, I'm Mr. Winder from the Med Group. There's a couple questions. The first one was about insurance cards. It is correct that your CAC ID is your insurance card. Your DoD ID number is your what's called your benefits number through Tricare. So once you are registered with Tricare and have a PCM assigned, you can use your CAC ID for any time you have to show proof of insurance for Tricare reasons, as long as your CAC ID is not expired. That means if you go downtown for some type of care, either ER, urgent care, or a referral, there is a memorandum that states that those entities are allowed to take a scan of your CAC ID card. I know it's a common place to not give it to people and let people scan it or anything like that, but when it comes to your medical care off base, they are allowed to do that, so that's how they can register your care through Tricare to show that you've been to that clinic. Another question that was brought up was about dental. Dental for students right now, the capability is only for emergency care only. So you would call the appointment line number, again that's 654-3149, and you can get triaged for any type of dental care that you think you may need. If it's a routine exam for right now, you would probably have to wait until you get to your follow-on base. I think that's it for questions. Oh, someone asked what's a PCM? A PCM is your primary care manager. So like that would be like your family doctor or your doctor that's assigned to you for your care. So any type of routine appointment that you need, physical or just an injury or something like that, when you make an appointment through the appointment line, that's who they will assign to you most of the time, unless there's capability reasons or they're on leave or something like that. Now when it comes for students and sick call, If you come in for sick call, that you might see a different provider, but more than likely, if you need a follow-up or something like that, it will be scheduled with your PCM. So for some Tricare options, someone asked, I saw that there were 2 different Tricare options. Is one better than the other? So for active duty, you're automatically enrolled in Tricare Prime. And if you're reserve or guard status, anytime that you're on active order, so in a training status or something like that, you are under Tricare Prime. Tricare Prime means that you have to be seen through the med group here by your PCM, or you can, to be seen off base, you'd have to get a referral, or if it's non-duty hours, you would call Tricare and get a hold of the nurse advice line, and then they would, they're the ones that would direct you downtown to either the ER or urgent care center, depending on severity and symptoms, that type of thing. For active duty, you 100% have to have a referral to go see any type of specialist downtown. The only thing you guys don't have to have a referral for is emergency care. Emergency care is described as life, limb, or eyesight. Anything other than that would be an urgent care clinic, which you would still have to be seen, or you'd still have to have a referral for. So we always say just call the nurse advice line if it's non-duty hours or weekends, and they'll direct you in the right direction. And they can place a referral for active duty on there. Another thing with the nurse advice line is if you're not sure if you need to go somewhere or something like that, they are a registered nurse. You can video chat with them, you can text them, or call them on the phone, and they will list your symptoms, that type of thing, and they'll triage you over the phone and then send you to where you need to go.
James Brown asking about dependents.
Oh, for dependents, so if you have dependents here at Goodfellow and your Tricare Prime, they would have a PCM on base right now as well. Our care is limited right now with COVID-19, so I would call the appointment line and just check what the capabilities are, especially when it comes to children. For the most part, I think children are being seen off base right now, just because we're kind of going strictly to active duty care in the clinic to make sure that we can take care of the active duty members here and to keep them as safe as possible, make sure they're not being integrated with other type of patient categories or someone that may be high risk for COVID. So just when in doubt, call the Tricare nurse advice line, or you can call our appointment line during duty hours and they'll send you to the right place. There was a question again about dependents, if they have to be enrolled or are they automatically enrolled. So once you're enrolled as Tricare Prime, they would have to also enroll themselves. You can enroll any of your children, but your spouse would have to enroll themselves through Tricare because they get assigned to a different PCM. Usually there's a active duty side of the clinic and then there's a family health side of the clinic. So, but they are covered under Tricare Prime. I think that's it.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Goodfellow Air Force Base. My name is Staff Sergeant Trueblood. I work with the Area Defense Counsel's Office. Going to talk to you guys a little bit about our functions and some of the stuff we do. Welcome to Goodfellow Air Force. About some of the stuff we do. First things first, we help out with LOCs, LOAs, LORs. So if anybody here were to get any sort of paperwork, we would definitely help you guys out with a response to that. You have 3 duty days to conduct a response for that. So hopefully you guys don't get put in that situation, but if you do, give us a call the day of, so that way you have a couple days to do your response. We also help out with Article 15s. Know with an Article 15 you have the same amount of time, 3 duty days, but you do have a little bit more set of rights with an Article 15 than you do an LOC. You have the right to turn it down and take it to a court-martial, and you have the right to a personal appearance as well. And punishment ranges can range anywhere from forfeiture in pay, reduction in rank, stuff like that. Another thing that we do is Article 31 rights and interrogations. So if you get put in a situation where you're under investigation, just know that you have the right to remain silent. Any statement that you make can and will be used as evidence. So there's nothing wrong with giving the ADC office a call if anybody decides to read you your rights. Barring any questions, I'm going to turn you guys over. Thank you guys so much.
Good morning. My name is Technical Sergeant Laura. I'm with Equal Opportunity. And I was just going to give you a little bit of what we do, try to keep it nice and short and sweet for you. So we handle unlawful discrimination and sexual harassment. So for unlawful discrimination, we have race, color, religion, national origin, sex, and sexual orientation. And recently we have also picked up bullying and hazing for military members. Sexual harassment, there's 3 different kinds: verbal, nonverbal, and physical. If you have questions along the lines of, hey, what constitutes sexual harassment, what constitutes sexual assault, that's going to be a different office. You're going to go to SARC. So if you're unsure, feel free to contact us at any time. We're located in building 410. We're across from the Navy detachment, and we're an office of 3 members right now: myself, Sergeant Aguilar, and Sergeant Jackson. Our contact information, 325-654-4293.
one.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name's Lieutenant Sil Paswampersit. I go by Lieutenant Sil. I am the Mission Support Group Executive Officer for Colonel England. Basically what that is within the Mission Support Group, we oversee 6 different squadrons. Now, those squadrons are the Civil Engineer Squadron, the Communications Squadron, the Contracting Squadron, Force Support Squadron, Logistics Readiness Squadron, and Security Forces Squadron. So you can kind of see basically it's in the name, right, Mission Support. All of those entities bring something to the table in terms of supporting you and servicing you and your families across the installation. So really I'm just here to kind of talk about, one, the current state of our facilities, 2, kind of what we're here to do, and then I'll be standing by for any questions that you have. So for the current state of our facilities, obviously COVID has come in and kind of changed the way that we operate, right? So we've had to adjust our hours. We've had to adjust whether our facilities are open or closed or appointment only. So if you follow, there may be a little chart here on the YouTube page, but if there isn't, you can always visit 17 FSS, and FSS stands for the Force Support Squadron. So 17 FSS Goodfellow Air Force page. Now that's a Facebook page that you can follow. And every Monday they come out with a chart that basically shows the status of our facilities and they'll color code them. As of 11 May, which was yesterday, most of them are yellow or red, yellow meaning limited capabilities and kind of appointment only, and then red is closed for the time being. Now we are working to get those facilities back up and running. Obviously we're trying to do that as safely and quickly as possible. But again, safety during these unprecedented times is our #1 priority. We hear your complaints and we hear your concerns about why can't this facility be open? We really appreciate your patience and understanding during this time. But for the time being, just continue to follow those updates, and as soon as we get them, we will continue to be as transparent as we can with you. One of the ones that may affect you the most is the DFAC, so I'll kind of cover that a little bit. The DFAC is still open. You can still go in there. We are highly encouraging you to continue to do your social distancing practices, wear your mask when applicable, 6 feet apart. To go is really the primary option that we're kind of gearing you towards. Hopefully we allow you to come in, grab your food and go. That's what we're aiming for. But you are able to sit in there for up to 15 minutes if that's what you prefer. MPF, if you're coming in and you need to get your information updated, you can get there by appointment only. I'll throw a number out there if you're ready, and maybe we can put this in the chat. For the MPF, the number is 325-654-1801. You call them, that'll get you to their front desk. And if you work with your MTLs, they should be able to set up an appointment for whatever you need, and our folks over in the MPF will be able to help you out. Other than that, I'm really here just to answer any questions. Like I said, our primary focus is to support you and make sure you and your families are taken care of in any capacity that we can during this time. We're in constant talks every day to make sure that we, again, move safely and precisely through this COVID situation, while also making sure that we can give you as many of the amenities that you need to be successful, so you guys can go on and carry out the mission. So I'll stand by for questions or comments if anybody has any. So it looks like we got a question. What is the primary purpose of the MPF and why would I need to speak to them? So MPF is crucial to your military records. So they stand for the Military Personnel Flight. So your DEERs, your marriage updates, your information updates, where you're coming from, all of your records, when you go down the line, retirements, separations, re-enlistments, reclass, PCS, out processing, in processing, all of those things are going to happen within the MPF. It's also called the MPS at certain locations, so maybe that's kind of where the disconnect is. But just in line with finance and everything else, we are going to be a major factor in terms of what you do when you in and out process through the base. We want to make sure that all of your records are intact, so when you do move, or if anything comes through in the system, that your records are up to date. So we're basically within the MPF kind of managing your military records and your profiles to make sure all your paperwork is aligned so that you are finance to take care of the payment side of the house. But in order to get paid and in order for the finance folks to be able to do their jobs, a lot of the stuff in your records needs to be accurate and up to date. So that's why the MPF is primarily important, to make sure that you are getting all the information you need. We read through the AFIs quite frequently and they change on us every day. But the MPF folks, those are the subject matter experts in a lot of the things that you're going to encounter throughout your career. Like I said, when you re-enlist, when you promote, when you retire, when you separate, all of those things are going to have to go through the MPF. So get familiar with them now. Again, talk to your MTLs, get familiar with the folks and what they do to make sure that your records are good. So later down the road, when you're trying to fill out, these forms to get these benefits or whatever the case may be, you know the process, you know who to talk to, you know how to get that done. Hey folks, it's Lieutenant Sill again. While we're waiting for the next group of briefers to come and brief you guys, I just wanted to come in and say one more plug on the Facebook page that I mentioned earlier. So again, the 17 FSS Goodfellow Air Force Base Facebook page, they're doing what's called right now is the Virtual Month of Fun, or Month of Virtual Fun. That's going to go all the way through May, and they're going to giving out gift cards and prizes and things like that. So if you're cooped up, if you're in the ROM status or quarantine status, or if you just want to get online and connect with a few folks while you're new to the base, please go check out that page. Trivia every Tuesday. Today at 5 o'clock, it's Trivia Tuesday, so they're doing an office-themed trivia night. And again, they're going to have Meme Monday, so if you're looking for those spicy memes, or they're calling them spicy memes on Mondays, or Fitness Fridays. There's plenty of things to do on that page while you're confined to your residence. So please continue to go out there, check for updates, stay connected, and get after what we can. And again, while we're waiting for the next briefers.
There's a question.
Oh, there is a question.
PT.
PT? Okay, what's the question?
Says any information as to whether we're going to have PT tests during our stay here, or will they be completely cut out for the next how many months due to COVID?
So personally, I can't really speak to the PT policy. I wish I knew, because I've got a test that's scheduled in June, and I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know where that's going to take me. I've been preparing myself. As Chief KP likes to put it, our job, regardless of whether the COVID situation is happening or not, is to maintain our physical fitness to the best of our ability, given the opportunities that we have, right? So again, until further notice, as far as I know, my test is still in June. But again, I think we're waiting for guidance from higher Air Force to kind of dictate that. So I know everything from March to May was shifted by a few months, but June I don't think falls into that boat until now. So I know higher Air Force has that in their hands. We're standing by and waiting for that guidance, but until then I just continue to keep practicing, keep maintaining your fitness, and worst comes worst, we're going to have to maintain fitness regardless of the COVID situation, right? Regardless of if there's a test or not. So keep doing what you're doing, keep pressuring, or encouraging is a better word, encouraging your wingmen to maintain fitness, and be out there with them, continue to fight the fight. And I think while we're waiting, if there's no other questions, we're waiting for a few of the other briefers. So I think we're going to transition into a quick video about Tricare. So off we go.
Good morning. I'm Denise Nelson. I'm going to talk to you today about your Tricare benefits. I'm also going to give you some phone numbers, and hopefully you've received a packet that have those phone numbers in it, but just in case, I will give you those phone numbers while we're talking. You are going to need to contact Humana Military to get enrolled in your Tricare benefits at Goodfellow. That number is 1-800-444-5445. Now, it's not an automatic transfer when you change duty stations, so you will need to get a hold of them and get it changed to Goodfellow, or else you won't have any medical benefits. If you have family members that traveled with you, spouses and children, they can be enrolled at the same time. Just tell them who all you're enrolling. If your family members did not travel with you and they're already enrolled in Tricare, you don't have to make any changes for them until they move. And then when you all go and you meet up again, then you'll just change everybody at the same time when you get your first duty station. Now, your dependents do have to be enrolled in DEERS before they can be enrolled in Tricare. The DEERS office at Goodfellow Air Force Base is located at the Norma Brown building. That is building 430. It's the big headquarters building on the main street, across the street from the fire department. Make sure that you have your dependents enrolled in DEERS, which is how they get their ID card. After they're enrolled in DEERS, then they can be enrolled in Tricare. Now, at this time, the 17th medical group is only for acute care. What that means is you're having symptoms that are not normal for you. Dry cough, fatigue, sore throat, any of these things. If that's the case, then you're going to call the appointment line, and that number is 325-654-3149. You're going to tell them what symptoms you're having. They're going to help you decide if you need a virtual appointment, a face-to-face appointment, or a referral to go to urgent care downtown. Now, if the medical clinic sends you to urgent care downtown, they will put a referral into my Tricare system, and that's what keeps your care downtown free. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you contact the medical group for everything before you go off base. Now, anytime that you go see a provider downtown, they're going to want to see your military ID card, and they will want to make a copy of it. I know they keep telling us don't ever let anybody make copies of our ID card, but this is the only way that these medical providers are going to get their claims paid. So you have two numbers on your ID card. One is a DOD number, one is your benefits number. That benefits number is what the provider needs to get their claims paid. Now, if you get a bill and you know you did everything I told you to, I want you to call our 800 number and tell them what's going on. 9 times out of 10, it's just because the provider got that benefits number wrong in their computer system, and my folks can help you get that taken care of. Now, if you have an emergency, we don't have emergency services on base, but we do have 2 hospitals downtown, Shannon and Communities. They are both networked, they both have emergency services, and you can use either one. A true emergency is loss of life, limb, eyesight, or possible broken bone. This is the only time you don't go through the medical clinic on base first. Just go to the nearest emergency room or call 911. We also have pharmacy and dental on base. Everything you do on base is free. If you have a prescription from a previous military location, you can talk to the pharmacy about pulling that prescription through the system if you still have refills left on it. If not, you're going to call the appointment line, tell them what's going on, that you need a new prescription, and they'll help you get that taken care of. Now for dental, they do not do routine exams while you're in student status, but if you have an emergency or an issue, I want you to make sure that you're calling that appointment line, tell them that you need dental care, and they will help you take care of that. If you have an in-processing sheet that says you need a dental exam, go ahead and take care of that, and they will help you get everything up to date for your in-processing. Now, after hours care, you can call the nurse advice line. After hours would be after the clinic is closed in the evenings or on weekends or holidays. The nurse advice line, the number is 1-800-874-2273, option 1. They're going to help you either for at-home care. They're going to suggest you go to urgent care. They can help you get a referral for that, or they'll send you to the emergency room. Follow the directions for whatever they tell you. They're going to put the phone call into the system so that the military system can see it later. And that way, if you have any problems with the bill, say the referral didn't get put in correctly, then they can go back and listen to that call and see what was going on. Now, remember that the only time you go off base without talking to the medical group or the nurse advice line is for a true emergency. Everything else goes through the appointment line. I'm going to give you those phone numbers again. To get enrolled in your Tricare benefits, it's 1-800-444-5445. To make an appointment at the medical clinic or to get a referral, it's 325-654-3149. For the nurse advice line for after hours care, it's 1-800-874-2273. Make sure you get all your referrals put in the system. If you have your handouts, hopefully, they should have all the urgent care clinics and the hospitals listed on it. They also have civilian hospitals on the back of the handout. There's copays showing on there. That's for your family members. You'll show your ID card for your prescriptions off base, and they're still free for you. If you have any questions, please call us at 1-800 888-444-5445. Thank you for your service and welcome to Goodfellow.
Hi, this is Tech Sergeant Enoch again. While we're waiting for our next briefers, I'm just going to go ahead and answer some of the questions you guys posted on earlier. One of the questions that we have, with the addition of distance learning, will we receive free Wi-Fi for our laptops? The answer is we're still trying to look into that, and then once we get an answer, we'll let you know, but I'm under assumption you guys will be getting free Wi-Fi just for the advanced learning distance piece. As for personal Wi-Fi, you'll still have to purchase that on your own. Airman Vo asked, is the process of having a spouse move into on-off base housing the same as it was before COVID-19? If not, what are some differences? It is the same. They'll still have to be, if they're coming in from out of town, they'll still have to go to the 14-day ROM status to make sure that they don't have any COVID symptoms. Then once that's done, whatever phase you go into, phase 2 or 3, you will be able to move off or on base with your spouse, but you have to get permission through your MTL, but it's still the same process.
Hello.
Another question from Airman Dupree. What about issuing laptops to those that don't have one? Unfortunately, they're not issuing out laptops for those that do not have one, so you will be using your phone. But if you have any further questions about how to access your materials, go through your MTLs and they'll go through your instructors and see what are the means you guys can get to get your advanced learning. Right now we have SARC here to do their briefing, so stand by.
Good morning. I'm Mr. Brooks, and I'm the base SARC for Goodfellow. And today I'll just give you a quick rundown of some of the things that we provide as a SAPR office. We have a staff of 3 personnel, and we also have the Army SARC that also works out of our building. We have myself as the SARC. I run the office. And then I have 2 SAPR victim advocates, would be Miss Lori Mattis and Miss Kimberly Henry. And then the Army SARC is Sergeant First Class Miller. Of course, naturally, as you all know, we provide services to victims of sexual assault. We also provide educational services, anything ranging from services that relate to how to deal with people who have been sexually assaulted, like survivors of past assaults prior to coming to the military, bystander intervention type of training, and just those resources to help people that get past instances of sexual assault. I don't want to go down into the particulars just because of the forum, but I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of the type of reporting options that we have to, as a SAPR office, we have restricted and unrestricted reporting options. Restricted options are those options that that give you that confidential reporting, and unrestricted is a little less confidential, but it's still confidential in nature. Just people that need to know would know certain particulars about the case. But at the same time, both of them are meant to get you the necessary help to get you back on the right track. At this time, I'll take any questions that you may have.
Hi everyone, I'm Captain Laura Quacco. I'm the Special Victims Counsel here at Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas. Staff Sergeant Daniel Hassan is my paralegal, so if y'all ever need to talk to one of us, those are the two names, Captain Quacco and Sergeant Hassan. But basically what I do is I'm the JAG, the attorney who represents victims of certain types of sexual offenses. Hopefully nothing like that ever happens to any of y'all, but if it ever does, you can come talk to us, do a consultation with us, decide whether you want an attorney to help out with your case. You can be either an unrestricted or restricted case. I know Mr. Brooks already talked to y'all about that. But I can help you, tell you what your options are, discuss your case before you even know what you want to do with it. And I am a completely, separate chain of command. My command's in DC, so I'm not influenced by anyone here on base. If you're not sure what to do and you don't want to feel any kind of influence, my job is to represent you. I've got clients who, want to go all the way through to the end of a case. Some who, talk to me and after talking to me decide not to go unrestricted, and that's totally fine. I support whatever decision you want to make, okay? So I am typically located in the Norma Brown building. I am sometimes in there, sometimes not, but mostly teleworking these days. If you do want to contact us, you do have to go through my paralegal because he does have to do a conflict check. What I'm going to do is give y'all his duty cell phone number in case any of y'all want to talk about SVC services. So the Goodfellow duty cell is 202-631-1218. And again, that was Staff Sergeant Daniel Hassan. So reach out to him if any of you think you might need services. And what I will say is I help throughout the entire process. So including OSI interview, which would normally be the first step if you do decide to participate in investigation. What I will say is, I'd recommend, if possible, chatting with me before that, and I can help you prepare and kind of know what to expect. So if y'all ever need me, reach out to Staff Sergeant Daniel Hassan. Thanks, have a great day.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you again for joining the 17 Training Wing in Processing. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed it as much as we have. I just want to thank all those briefers that came today to brief to you guys to let you know what their services are. You guys can always go back to the comment section to get whatever phone number that you may need, like the Norman Brown building or the NPS is on there in the comment section. If you guys have any other questions pertaining to the base, any services or anything like that, just relay that information to your MTLs as they're your first line supervisors being here. With that being said, be each other's wingmen. Make sure you guys are wearing the proper face mask around individuals And again, PT, you guys are allowed to do PT outside. Find creative ways to do PT. The weights are going to be distributed around base, so take that time and do that for yourselves. Also be accountable for one another. If somebody's looking down or feeling sad or anything like that, just ask your wingman, is everything okay? All right, and then also make sure that you guys are going to be the best technical experts that you can be while still enforcing those military training standards. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a very good day. Thanks.